When I was 16, I went on an exchange to America for 1 year. That experience changed me in so many ways, and ever since then, I've wished to do something similar. Now, 10 years later, I finally have my chance, but this time in Japan. It's been a whole month since I've started my new life in Japan, and as expected, a huge amount of stuff has happened. Let's take a look at some of the things I've done. I'm currently here sitting in my accommodation. This is the last day of the month. I'm actually moving out tonight, believe it or not. So I'm just finishing this off, and let's talk about what I've been doing. Week 1 was definitely just like a holiday. Like all we did each day was a new fantastical adventure. My first day in Japan was just arriving in the accommodation, meeting the other teachers for the course. And yeah, we got some really good people. Like, I've made some really close connections with some of these people. It's been really fantastic. My flights though, oh my god, my flights took it out of me. I had like a 6-hour flight from Australia to Singapore. And then, that was during the day. And then at night, at like 1 in the morning, was my flight from Singapore to Nagoya. So I got to Nagoya at like 8 a.m. not having slept at all across the night. It was just awful. But somehow I stayed awake the entire first day I was here. I was just so excited. Like, I was in Japan finally. After all these months, years, waiting to be here. I just was so excited. But that was arrival day. Pretty standard. Day 1, official first day. That's where things started kicking off. Alright, today marks the official beginning of the trip and all the things we will be learning. Very fun. We had sushi today. Proper Japanese sushi. And like, I've been to Japan, including now, like 4 times, and I've never ever had like sushi in Japan. Anyway, the sushi was fantastic. It was just so good. But the big event for the first day was Atsura Shrine. We went to Atsura Shrine, which is a Shinto shrine. And oh my god, it was pouring with rain. The weather the first week was atrocious. It was just rain. And that was the one week we were going out and doing stuff. And I'm like, oh my god, why is the weather so bad? But Atsura Shrine was gorgeous. I think the one thing I really appreciated about it was that we learned how to properly pray at a shrine. There's something about learning how to pray properly that made me feel like, oh, like, I'm like part of the culture now, in a weird way. Right next to Atsura Shrine was the Sword Museum. This was so cool. I didn't realize that we were going to a sword museum at first. All I saw was Atsura Shrine. And you go in there and they have like displays of the entire process on how to make, proper katanas. And everything is like just beautiful. God, the swords are incredible. I think the best part about it was definitely seeing the huge, like 2-meter long swords. Like, they're massive. And I'm a big Final Fantasy VII fan. Like, I look at Sephiroth's sword and I'm like, that's like 9 feet long, and I'm like, that's awesome. And it's like, yeah, it'd be pretty long. Actually seeing something that rivals that length in person was ridiculous. The museum also had a room where they had the swords available for people to pick up, and they were tied down, and being able to physically lift it up was so cool. Like, the katana weighed like 1.2 kilograms, but it felt so heavy, just so heavy. But man, that was really, really fun. And of course, lifting up the really big ones, that was really cool. Day 2 was also really, really fun. More activities. In the morning, we did a Japanese cooking class. Cooking class was really important. I've got all the recipes in English, thank goodness. But every time I've come to Japan, we either eat out or we get food from the convenience store, the konbini. But to actually cook real Japanese food in your house, oh, I'm gonna have to learn how to do that, aren't I, if I'm gonna live here? We learned how to cook quite a few different dishes. I think the dish that I was most excited to have learned was eggs, how to cook eggs the Japanese style. I love eggs, so I'm probably gonna start learning how to do that a lot more. Like, if you have eggs that are cooked like the proper Japanese way, they are really, really sweet. And it's because they put sugar in it. When they make them, they put sugar in it. Like, oh, of course they do. After the cooking class, we did our first Japanese lesson. And this was pretty basic stuff that I already knew, but it was really nice just going through it over again because it's been a long time since I've studied Japanese. We went to a location called Ozane and I got some okonomiyaki, which I've been waiting for. Okonomiyaki is like my favorite Japanese food, so I was really excited to finally eat it. We have almost no time to have stuff for breakfast because we start so early and we have so much stuff planned that I basically just eat famichiki for breakfast. If you don't know what famichiki is, it is chicken that's been blessed by the gods. It's chicken you get at Family Mart. The weather today was awful, just awful as it always is. We were supposed to go up Chubu Electric Tower and see the sights, but well, it's not that we didn't go up because everything was cloudy. Like, they just shut everything down. Like, the weather was so poor, they just would not let people up the top. Like, it was just awful. Also, for a lot of the food, we've been going to a lot of Western places. Like, for lunch, we went to where did we go? It was like a Mexican taco place. I ended up getting like a hamburger and fries. Anyway, so instead of the Chubu Electric Tower, we went to Osu instead. Osu's got heaps of stuff, man. I finally found my first Don Quixote, and it's Don Quixote. And I found my first arcade at Osu as well. Oh, finally. Where I am at the moment, we're nowhere near an arcade. We're pretty far out. I played Sound Voltex. I think Sound Voltex is just my go-to now since Kimono Friends doesn't exist. There was a Kimono Friends arcade game back in 2019 and it doesn't exist anymore, and I played the shit out of that. Day 4. Day 4 was pretty good, actually. I enjoyed day 4 a lot more than I thought I would. So our big adventure for today was the Toyota Museum. And I don't care about cars whatsoever. I never have, and I doubt I ever will. But this is a Toyota history museum, and half the museum was the automobile stuff, but the other half was fabrics, because the Toyota company used to deal with fabrics before they did automobiles. The fabric machines are incredible, man. All of them work. And it's not that like they've been preserved and they could work if we switch them on. It's like, no, they do demonstrations on all of them. Like, they just show you how they work. And something else that I find so just mind-boggling about like the museum and just Japan is like all of those machines, you could just reach over and touch them. They are so close to you. There is nothing stopping you. Like anywhere else in the world, they'll be behind like a glass wall, you know, or anything, or much further away. No way you could reach that. No way you could touch that. But here, it's not, because people just don't touch it. People are just so respectful that they just would not touch that, even though you could easily touch it. And yeah, the automobile stuff was pretty cool. I don't really have much to say about it personally. Yeah, wow, that was really cool, honestly. After the Toyota Museum, we went back to Osu and I played more arcade games. Of course I did. I finally found a Project Diva, Hatsune Miku game. I don't see them very often. Like, I've been to arcades since and I just do not see them anywhere. I'm lucky to find one sitting in the corner of like a really popular arcade. They're not that popular anymore. Today's when we went past the Jump Store as well. It's where I saw the Anya Peanut plush. That's the profile picture. The picture of the fucking peanut. Okay, day 5. We went to Inuyama Castle. It was this gorgeous old castle. And as we're walking up to it, you can see it's so far in the distance and it's just sitting up there. And then eventually you make your way up and then you're just there. We got some stuff to eat and looked around. The streets close by were really pretty, just walking down them. I think the worst part about the castle was that you have to take your shoes off when you enter it. And I'm like, I get it, that's fine. But it's been raining and the weather has just been abysmal and it's freezing. But yeah, everything about the castle was gorgeous. Like, we finally go all the way around, we make it to the top, and then we can just see out. Like, they just let you walk on a little balcony out the top and you just see everything. And I've never seen a landscape look more picturesque. This photo of what like it looks like, that's literally what it looks like in person. Like, that is exactly how it looked like. The glare from the sun, the river, and then the mountain, it is exactly how it looked like in person. I couldn't describe it any better than what that photo does. So that was week 1. Week 1 was just the holiday, having a great old time. Week 2, is when the TESOL course started. And the TESOL course was basically gearing us up for teaching. We're learning how to do lesson plans, and there's really not a whole lot going on like specific days. Like I went to Animate one day and I got like that anime perfume. On the Friday night of week 2, we did karaoke for the first time, and that was good. I love singing, and we booked like a 3-hour session, and we were singing like that entire time. My time has come, sent shivers down my spine, body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody, I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. Mama, I don't wanna die. I sometimes wish I'd never been born at all. It was really, really fun though. And then on the Saturday, the day after that, I went to a music store that I saw on the walk to karaoke. And at the music store, I actually made a really, really close friend. My first really close Japanese friend. He asked me what I did if I played guitar in Australia, and I said yes. And I showed him the clips of the live video game music show that I did last year. I showed him the Xenoblade stuff because that's the one that I'm most proud of. And he's like, oh, Xenoblade. And I'm like, yeah, you know Xenoblade? He was mentioning like, oh, do you know Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Because that had come out like a day or 2 ago. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I can't play it. I don't have a PlayStation 5. He started talking about like that his friends have debates over who's the better girl in FF7. And like, he thinks it's Aerith. But all of his friends say it's Tifa. Tifa's absolutely the best girl. And I'm like, you're wrong. It's Yuffie. Yuffie is the best girl. Yeah, like every time we'd show up, he tried to use the translator less. And then on one day, he's like, no translator today, and tried to speak to me all in English. He pulled it out twice. But he was doing a really good job. And I was there for hours. Like I was just playing guitar because I needed my guitar fix. Because at this point, I hadn't played guitar for 2 weeks. And like, I need to play guitar. So I just sit there playing while we just chatted. And then eventually get kicked out because I was there for too long. All right, week 3. Week 3, to sum it up, it was our practicum week, where we'd taken our lesson plans that we have been learning and we actually applied it to real teaching. So we're in a class with real students, real kids, teaching lesson plans that we had created ourselves. And God, it was nerve-wracking. Like, I've been in front of kids a lot. I've done a lot of performing in front of kids, but like suddenly we're teaching them something. The first one, we were teaching like 8 to 10-year-olds. And that was really tough for some reason. 8 to 10 was a really, really tough age. It wasn't because they were misbehaving. They were just like, I couldn't tell if they were not interested or just bored or disengaged or tired. And like half of them wearing masks as well. So it's really hard to tell what their facial expressions are. The second time we did it, first time was on Monday, second time was on Friday. We had time to revise our plans. We did 2 classes on Friday. We did sort of a 5-6-year-old class and then a 10 to 12-year-old class. And that went way better. Like teaching young kids, I prefer to teach young kids. I love interacting with the younger kids because they're just bundles of joy. Like they don't know what's going on. They're just here to have a good time. I think what actually made me loosen up a lot was that we had an introduction slide introducing the teachers. And I was like, I'm Cameron. And then I had a picture of Australia because I'm from Australia. And then I had a picture of a guitar because I play guitar. And then I had a picture of Spy Family because I really like Spy Family. And these little 5-6-year-olds were just like, Anya-chan, Anya-chan. They knew who Anya was. And like immediately the whole class was like energized. And that was it, you know? That's all they needed, that little bit of motivation, that small connection. And they were a dream for the rest of the class. They were just bouncing off the walls, but in the best possible way. The 10 to 12-year-olds were also really, really good. They were listening and you could tell they were having fun. You could tell there were smiles behind those masks. But we were doing a topic on hobbies or activities like running, swimming, climbing, just very simple vocabulary words so they could get an idea of what each of them were. And then one of the kids in the back was like, gaming. I like to game. They know a lot, man. They know a lot of vocabulary, a lot more than I expected. Okay, I've run out of diary entries. I haven't written the rest yet. But at the end of the third week was probably something that I was very, very excited for. My favorite anime is K-On! I love K-On! I love the music, I love the characters. It is just, there's something so comfortable about it. Just south of Nagoya is sort of the Shiga area, where there's a place called Toyosato High School. I believe it's Toyosato. Yeah, Toyosato. Toyosato Elementary School. It was basically the setting for K-On! Like, they use the school as reference for the show. So it's just a free sort of museum. You go in, you can see the old halls of this beautiful elementary school. And then right up the top is the music room, and they have everything set up just like the show. And it was like so emotional for me. Like I was bawling my eyes out. There's even a small room where they have all like K-On! Memorabilia. Like every single piece of K-On! Merchandise is in that room. And they have like replicas of all the instruments, and like the floodgates were just going, man. I have a huge amount of footage for that, and that's all gonna be its own separate video if it's up already, or if I plan on uploading it soon. Yeah, that was definitely the highlight of the whole month. That K-On! Museum. I guess it's just the K-On! Museum. Yeah, that's the highlight of this first month for me. This last week, the fourth week of this month, has just been finishing off our TESOL course, getting our final grades. We passed, by the way. And yeah, now it's just been, well, I'm just waiting to leave for Tokyo. So that's basically the summary of kind of what's happened over the past month. But there's some other stuff that I've been doing, some more overarching kind of stories. I guess I should start with probably the biggest one. We don't have hot water. Yeah, we don't have hot water in this place. The hot water people were supposed to come on the day we arrived, and they did. And like the girls' room downstairs has hot water, perfectly fine, no worries. But they said, oh, the hot water might get up to lukewarm temperature, and it's not getting any hotter than that. And this is like me not like doing my flights, and I've just got here, and all I wanted to shower, and it's like, okay, I guess it's gonna be lukewarm, like that's fine, I'll survive. Turn on the shower, it is ice cold, and I sat there for like 5-10 minutes. It never got any hotter. So we found out that the hot water was just broken, and that they needed a whole new part to replace it with. They said that would take about 2 weeks. The hot water in the bath works, so we can still actually have a bath and wash ourselves. But like 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, like that's fine, that's whatever. About 2.5 weeks later, we finally get some people over to start changing it up. And the reason why it took so long is because apparently they needed to approve it, a bunch of paperwork, get everything ready before they could actually send people out. It's just needlessly over the top. But they finally get here, and they're working on everything, and then like 5 minutes go by, and they say, oh, sorry, we have the wrong part. We're gonna have to go back, and we'll come back another day. We have like a week left, and so far, like, you know, I leave tonight, and I haven't heard anything about it yet. I think there was a thought that they were gonna arrive today and fix it, but it's like too late, you know? We had to do all the dishes with no hot water. We haven't had a shower for a month. This is not our like coordinators' faults, because they're doing everything they can to like get them to like hurry up, and it's like they're not even gonna be here by the time you come and fix it. Like, do something. It just sucks. It's just an unfortunate situation where we just never got hot water for our time here. So my God, I am so excited to arrive in Tokyo and finally have a shower. Yeah, so that's probably been the worst part of the trip, the hot water situation. I mean, again, it's bearable because the bath works. Apparently they work off of 2 different systems, but at least that works. And we got a kettle so we can boil water if we need. We also did this TESOL course. And the idea of the TESOL course is, to basically learn how to teach, how to create lesson plans, what to do in situations when we don't have material given to us. And wow, I can't imagine going into teaching without having done this. I would have no clue what to do if I hadn't done this. If they just put me in front of a bunch of kids, I have absolutely no idea. What do I do with the alphabet, I guess? I don't know. Now I have a solid structure of exactly how to teach kids, what keeps them engaged, classroom management. We had a couple of nights. We went to karaoke 3 times, but on the second time we went, specifically, we weren't planning on going to karaoke. We were going to a Japanese bar. People wanted to have a drink, and that's great, but we went to a bar that also had karaoke. And so all these Japanese people are singing karaoke songs, and it's all very fun, and everyone's clapping, and everyone's like, just like so loud. But then everyone's like, sing, like to me. And I was like, all right. I really wanted to pick a Japanese song, but I was like, oh, I'm not too sure like on the lyrics. So I had to get up the Romanji just so I could read it quick enough. But I did Daddy Daddy Do from Love is War, Kaguya-sama. And like I was getting some actual cheers. Like people were like cheering me on, like yeah, like doing good. And then like a Japanese guy came over me and he was like wanted to share Instagram. And then like after that, like an entire like company of like Japanese workers just integrated into our group. And we were just like, they were just trying to talk to us in English. And it was like, where are you from? Where are you from? That was a wild night, man. That was crazy. They bought us shots. They bought us all a round of shots as well, tequila shots. Oh my God. I think the most surprising thing about my time here was around after the first week, after we'd done all these amazing activities and we finally have a weekend to do nothing. I've felt something that I haven't experienced in Japan yet at all. When you're on a trip to Japan or anywhere around the world, you always have this feeling of like, we need to do something. Like we can't just sit around and do nothing. We're wasting money. Like let's go out and do something and like we'll rest when we get home. But on the weekend, it was the first time that I could just lie in bed and I actually felt just relaxed. Like I didn't feel this obligation. I had to go out and see something. I was like, no, I'm just here now. This is just my normal life. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And I still have that feeling now. Like I haven't been this relaxed in a very long time. It's just my life, you know? All my worries in Australia are gone now. Like I'm starting brand new, completely fresh. And it was just a surprising feeling to get after only 1 week of being here. Because I've been feeling so relaxed and just enjoying my time, and I have more time than I realized, I've been getting into a lot more anime. I don't really watch a whole lot of anime at home. At least I didn't used to. But now that I'm in Japan, it's everywhere, man. It is just everywhere. Even like, you go to Akihabara and you go anywhere in Tokyo, it's everywhere. But I'm just in Nagoya at the moment. Not even in the city center, I'm out. But like, you see it in all different places. At the Piago, at the Konbini, you see it everywhere. So I'm gonna do a bit of an anime update, where I'm at. Because why not? I'm sure some people want to know. In this month, I've primarily watched 2 animes. Finished and watched Bocchi the Rock. That was really good. It's not as good as K-On!, but I'm heavily biased towards K-On!. But it's good. No, it was great. That was really fun. I also finished off Spy Family finally. I still hadn't seen season 2, only season 1. But I watched season 2 and yeah, it's just good, man. I really, really like Spy Family. As for One Piece, because I know my friends will want to know where I'm up to. As of last night, I'm up to episode 300 exactly. I'm right on 300. That's it for the first month though. It's been a busy first month, but good. A really good first month. I feel like this is the right decision. I'm still really relaxed and happy with how my life is going. Tonight, I take the night bus over to Tokyo and then I start everything all over there.